Hello and welcome to the CAC Spoilercast, CAC branded Spoilercast, for My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, Season 5, Episode 10, Princess Spike. My name is Rainbow Plasma, and today I'm joined by Burned.
Hello.
Joel, aka Atmospark.
And hello.
And our special guest this week, also from Down Under, DualShock.
Hi.
So he's going to be joining us because he just so happened to not have watched the episode, and he was like, can I watch it with you? So we brought him on, and he's a friend. So, yeah. Not much to say there. We're going to have two Australians, which means that we're going to have to wait 5 seconds to hear any of their responses, as usual, but that's fine. We can have some sort of Australia versus North America battle, or something like that.
Of course you had to bring me on during a Spike episode.
Right. Anyways, yeah. It's a Spike episode, everyone. We're down from our
So you can all turn away right now.
Yeah, we're all like
just close the window.
Down from our episode 100 high, and now we're wallowing in the Spike episode.
Yeah, we were talking about how it was like they brought us up so high, and then right after we all found out it was a Spike episode, and they're like, I gotta bring us back down. But at least like we were on that high note, so it's like it's all right to level us out,
crashing back down to earth.
So
yeah,
but when are we gonna get in trouble for that acronym, by the way?
What, CAC?
What,
for
CAC?
Our show, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah? So I guess we can start off this conversation good. We can what else is CAC? Spike's character development.
Okay, so people should know by now. The people might have not seen our previous spoiler casts, when they were on EFN or previous years or whatever. But I think it should go without saying that none of us really like Spike, and I don't think Duel is an exception to that. I don't think Duel's a huge Spike fan either.
Not particularly.
But it's just I don't know. It's the same as every other Spike episode. I feel like Spike gets responsibility for something. Everybody who gave him that responsibility regrets it in the end. He kind of learns a lesson, but not really.
And then sometimes he apologizes for it, and everyone's like, "Oh, Spike, you're the worst.
You're the worst." Yeah. So, I mentioned this. I think I mentioned this in previous Spike episodes before. Yeah. But I feel like the dynamic between Spike and Twilight is the best dynamic that makes Spike look least like blah.
Yeah.
When he is a complementary piece to Twilight, it works really well. Or when he's comedic relief, or he plays the straight man in their jokes, it totally works well. He's a great character as a side character. But every single time he gets into the spotlight, it's just a crash and a burn,
Yeah.
He has to have a purpose. With Twilight, he has that. He's always her foil or her support. But by himself, he doesn't have much to go on.
Yeah, and it would be fine if the episode was centered around him, but what I was complaining about is that they place him in these scenarios, and he's supposed to be kind of the naive role or whatever, or not Twilight's counterpart anymore, and be independent, and we're supposed to see some kind of redeeming quality about him, but instead he just he always screws things up, and he's always placed in a story in which he's messing things up. And then instead of doing somewhat of the right thing or struggling to do the right thing, he's just nah, I'm gonna do the wrong thing, and then screw up a bunch of stuff. You know what I mean? So even in this episode, he's I'm gonna help Twilight. I'm gonna start out good, that's my purpose. And then he went out of hand with it, and then he started doing the wrong thing. And even Princess Cadence was like, "Hey, are you sure you're not doing the wrong thing?" He's like, "Nah, that ain't me." And it's just all right, good development.
Well, you brought up a good point, Burned, which was when we were watching this episode, you were like, how is he, he's put into these impossible scenarios. You're like, how is he supposed to deal with people needing to, talk to Twilight and also keep Twilight, getting her rest, right?
He was literally put in the most impossible scenario for him ever. There was no right decision. Even then, making decisions for her, well, it was nice to keep her asleep, but it was still the wrong decision. There was nothing right there to do. So they already placed him in an impossible scenario that he is basically doomed to fail. So it's how is he supposed to learn anything from that? And then he's oh, I love doing the wrong thing, and then that was the moral. My goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. It's he was put into a position where it was oh, well, obviously this won't be his fault because this is an impossible scenario. And then it continues down the road, and it's come on, Spike, I was giving you a chance. Jeez. But no, I don't know. I mean, I don't look at this episode as a bad episode, right? Like, I feel like I enjoyed myself, and there was a lot of cool stuff in there, which we can get to right now.
Like,
Bernd was mentioning the Andy Price and Katie Cook ponies. That was cool.
You can check out how they say about that on Twitter. But both that is a storyboard writer, right? Katie Cook's a storyboard writer? Not storyboard. Comic writer?
Comic, yeah. The MLP Comics, I think they're both writers. Maybe, I don't know. I'm not into the comics, so
yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, Andy Price is a comic book artist, and then
Katie Cook is also a comic book artist, I think. Isn't Katie Cook the one that Howard loves, is just in love with?
No, that's Sarah Richards.
Ah, yes, okay.
So I think Katie Cook is also an artist to do with the comics. I thought she was a writer, but I am falsified.
Kira's a big fan of the comics.
I believe she might do some of the comics.
Yeah, Kira could tell you probably.
Yeah, something like that.
But regardless, they're both involved with the My Little Pony series, comic wise, not directly DHX related. But both of their OCs were incorporated into the show as major background characters, which was pretty cool because people on the show and stuff have been trying to do that for a while. And back in the day, Hasbro was like, "Hey, nah, you can't do that," and kind of slapped him on the wrist and was like, "No." We saw that with Sibsy, and they had to recolor her. But now, especially with Hasbro encouraging DHX to do the episode 100 thing, we're kind of seeing them be like, "Oh yeah, work some OCs in for There's no way Hasbro didn't know about that. You know what I mean?
Right. How dare you put in people who have helped your brand?
Yeah, right.
That's not gonna happen. So I mean, that was cool, and there was some cool Cadence stuff. Cadence remains best princess in my opinion.
Yeah, it was cool to
with
see
her cool
again.
new crystal powers.
Oh yeah, that's new canon stuff now.
That was cool.
She's never done that before, right?
Yeah. Her new crystal abilities powered by the crystal on her butt gave her crystal powers. I just wanted to say the word crystal 4 times.
And butt.
Yeah.
Yep. Got to sneak the butt in there somewhere. It's my motto.
Yeah.
There were a lot of cool ponies in this one, actually. Now that I think about it, there were the Minnesota pony. There was
the two accent ponies.
I was kind of hoping to see more
great.
of the other ones.
Minnesota, and what was the other?
New York.
Was it New York?
Manhattan
Oh
accent.
yeah, the Manhattan pony, and then the Manhattan pony, and
the Canadian one who was cutting down the aptly named dragon sneeze trees.
Oh yeah, and the Canadian lumberjack. That was so good. I loved that bit. I also loved the cutie marks and all the characters too, because they were kind of something key from that city, like the pizza on the Manhattan's pony butt and the coffee on the Minnesota pony's butt.
Yeah,
they had the jackhammer pony, and the one that helped with gems. The nerdy one.
There was also that weird
right.
blue flying one that had this the awkward looking face. It was really. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Oh.
He had poofy white hair, and he was complaining about a friend sitting in his seat.
Oh, he flew?
He had wings.
I didn't see that he had wings. But yeah, he was really awkward looking. Speaking of awkward looking, I loved the nerdy pony, that kind of stereotypical character. That was good. And also the double neck pony in the background.
Oh yeah,
that guy was
the
good.
double chin.
He looked like Carrot Top, but got lost himself. And let himself
Joel, you
go
must
for
have
a
loved
while.
that. Joel, you must have loved that nerdy pony because she reminded me a lot of Twist.
Yeah, a little bit.
Twist is best pony.
I like Twist.
According to Joel, yeah.
That's good
There
stuff.
was also toothpaste pony.
It's true. Dual
speaking
loves toothpaste pony.
Oh yeah, in the very beginning, the second shot in the entire show. There's
she was in there as well on the stairs at some point.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
When there was
I didn't
all of
notice.
the people complaining, she was on the stairs for some sort of complaint. Not sure what it would be.
Noise.
One day she will get a speaking role.
She did though.
Oh yeah, in the Cadence wedding one.
In the wedding, yeah.
Yep.
She got a speaking role with Lyra, so that means that's totally not her real voice because Lyra got an actual voice later.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we're still waiting. We're still waiting official voice toothpaste butt.
Please,
That's a
Hasbro.
phrase. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I felt bad because any episode that's going to follow up episode 100 is going to fall flat a bit. I remember I was talking a friend of ours named Fabricant. He was over on a couple of different MLP boards, and apparently people before the episode were saying like, "Oh yeah, I'm not even gonna watch this episode. I'll probably skip it." You know, like they weren't even giving it a chance before it even came out. You know,
It's
So-
like, one, it's because we've had a bad history with Spike, and two, it's because it was a mistake to go on those boards. But
but I don't even know if they knew the episode title. They were just kind of like, I'm not really feeling it this week. You know, like everybody was so hyped up about episode
I
100.
can't take it anymore. It was too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you.
There was a really cool
Yeah.
looking griffin actually in this episode.
Oh yeah,
That's
that
true.
was awesome.
I hope they bring back more griffins in the future
Yes.
episodes.
Yeah, and
Well-
that was kind of them doing that in this episode, right? And kind of making them a bit more prevalent, which was
Yep,
was
definitely.
good. It's funny because all of our compliments are stuff to do with the background of this
Yeah.
episode. Because like, just like lorefully, this episode was great. Like there was a convention in
great
Canterlot.
word.
They had like convention badges. They were setting up these panels and like all these things, and all the background characters and just a bunch of awesome stuff. But
The
then,
statue was cool as well.
oh yeah,
If a bit gaudy.
yeah. But then we don't have too many complaints about like just the moral of the story, right? Or in like and what Spike did. It was kind of just us complaining about it. But like, was
Yeah, I
there
guess.
any? I would like to ask you guys: was there anything that that you kind of liked about this episode, about the story or the role in which Spike played? I guess.
Hmm.
I don't know. I get tired of Spike episodes for the same reason that I get tired of CMC episodes up until this season with the CMC, because they've been really great this season.
Mhm.
It's just kind of like old hat, you know? Like it's when the CMC were still looking for cutie marks, like that was cool and all for like 3 episodes, and then they kept doing it, and so it got a bit old sometimes.
Mhm.
Yeah. If there's
But
one thing
so
to
it's
say,
like for Spike, it's the same thing, you know?
if there's one thing I'd like to say, it's that Spike at least kept to his character in this episode.
Mhm.
Like you could see how he thought through his process. Like he was at first really reluctant to do anything about Twilight, and then he started just helping, and then he started enjoying it, and then he sort of just went full blown Spike.
Yeah, full blown Spike. I like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, yeah, it was written in character, so that's the thing. I mean, like, I'm not going to complain saying like Spike was out of character, although, you know, there was a couple people that I talked to after this episode that, you know, they were just like, I wish Spike had a better character, you know?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing.
I think they tried to pull in the whole Twilight and Spike interaction using this episode, right? And that's where Spike does really well. They tried to pull that in, but it just didn't work because Twilight was asleep the whole episode.
Yeah.
You know, there was barely any interaction.
She's
So.
adorable when she's sleepy.
It's true, she is.
Yeah. There's
She-
there's some good moments there.
Let's be honest, she was sleep drunk. We've
Yeah.
all had those moments where we've been so sleepy that things get a bit weird, and she was at that point.
I think we all had some good brony moments when Twilight was trying to sleep on the pile of books and was just like, yes, and like,
You
just, like
cuddle
rubbing them
those
up
books.
against her face and stuff.
You love books,
I was
don't
like,
you?
Twilight books. You're-
You weird little
She
book
does
horse.
couple
yeah,
of
you
books.
silly book horse. So
She has the most amazing expression.
Yeah. So guys, this episode was so meh that it crashed my Chrome.
And my internet.
Wow.
I was scrubbing through the episode looking for moments, and it just crashed.
Oh,
I don't know.
like
I feel bad. I like to be really positive about these episodes because this show makes me happy, and that's all I care about. And like honestly, like I don't look back at it and I'm like, oh, that was a bad episode. It was just meh, you know. And like that might be because it came after episode 100, but it also might be because it was a Spike episode. I don't know.
Yeah.
It just I'd say this is probably the weakest episode of season 5 so far, and that's unfortunate because there was a new writer, and I don't think the writing was bad.
Yeah,
I
well,
think-
like, background lorefully, I feel it was one of the better episodes just because of what was going on in the background. But like story-wise, I feel like it was one of the weaker ones, or one of the worst ones, if I can use that word. One of,
Right,
I'll just say one of the not as good ones, put it like that. Just because I feel like they set up Spike in a possible scenario where he was doomed to only fail and there was no right decision, and then through being placed in a horrible scenario, he then was placed as the villain because he chose to enjoy the scenario in which he was placed in, if that makes sense. So it was like from the beginning, he was like, there was no like relatable moral or something. There was like, I'm placed in an absolute impossible scenario where I can't wake up the person who I'm not supposed to wake up, and then trying to wake her up was the right decision, which is what he tried to do, and then he ended up making the wrong decisions, and yeah, so I don't know, maybe blah blah.
I guess I couldn't relate. That was part of it.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I like the idea that this is like one of the badder episodes, but we still all enjoyed it, really. I know I did.
Yeah.
So
I think,
shows how
like,
Tony is.
the thing about MLP is, like, when people have asked me before, like, what's your least favorite episode? And, like, all of the episodes that I don't really like, most of them I still enjoy watching. They just, like, it's relative, right? So it's just not amazing like the other episodes.
Yeah. But, I mean, technically, whose fault this is it's the other princesses. Like, they should have had somebody doing work there to like help take care of all these ponies when Twilight was asleep, right? Like, Cadence is just flying around doing stuff, like complaining at Spike and making sure he's not doing anything wrong when there's all these ponies trying to get to Twilight. But yeah,
I have a feeling that might be partly Twilight's fault, though.
She just took all the organization on.
Because, like, she probably was like, no, I'll totally handle it, you know?
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, I've kind of blabbed a bit about it. Do you have any 2 cents, Joel, about Spike and his horrible scenarios or this episode in general?
Yeah, if you're gonna sneeze, don't do it towards the priceless statue.
Oh, yeah. Did you say, my goodness. What are in dragon sneeze flowers? Like, that's apparently a thing.
Yeah. What do you think about the episode in general, though, Joel?
Really?
Yeah.
That's just
Like that, yeah.
the best way to describe it.
Yeah, I think we were all kind of in agreement there.
The background was enjoyable though,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
Cadence Pony.
Our consensus for this episode is we all enjoyed everything in the background, but then we were on the fence about the story, and then none of us enjoyed Spike.
Yeah. More
Poor
Cadence
Spike.
Pone.
Ooh.
Yay.
Poor Spike.
I did like when Spike was trying to climb out the window, and he like stacked a couple of books just so he could reach the sill.
He was trying to escape, yeah.
Yeah, and then like Spike, and the camera pans like to him, and he's like halfway out the window. That was pretty good comic relief.
That was
I
fun.
like that.
I like the fact that she wakes up and then he's like, well, I guess I did my job correctly. Like I did, and then the door busts over. It's
man.
like, oh, right. No, there's an angry mom. Not at all. Yeah. I feel kind of bad because I don't want to discourage like a new writer. But like, you know, I don't like, I don't know what else to say, you know, like it's
like,
just not,
there were
it was
parts where
formulaic.
Spike tried to be redeeming, and then we could relate as viewers, but then there was also the majority of the points which stood out were parts where I felt he was put in an impossible scenario, or he always picked the wrong decision. And then it's sad to see that for Spike as a character, 'cause it's like you want him to see some kind of like character development or struggle with it, but he never struggled with like the okay decisions. It was like I don't know. It was weird.
Maybe this is a bad side effect of the fact that they seem to want to put morals into every single episode. It might have forced.
No, it's fine because there was like a moral to learn there, but it was just like the right choice when it was placed for him was almost like an impossible choice for him. Sometimes, and then when it was like the right choice was placed for him. So even like him trying to like wake up Twilight or ask her, like you could say that's the right decision, but like when he tried to do that, Twilight was incognizant, and there was no way she was going to give it be in any way useful. So again, he's placed in an impossible scenario. So then when he starts giving advice, it turns out well, luckily, and then all of a sudden now that Spike's done the right thing, and we could see him helping Twilight, he's now placed as the villain again because he starts enjoying it too much, and then things go really, really wrong. So I don't know.
And when things go wrong, he's not the best person to have around. Like when he was trying to scoop that water out. What was he even doing?
Oh yeah, the boat and the bowl. That was pretty good.
That was funny.
Yeah. Well, sorry, a
on
new
the
writer. You didn't get Spike right, but
I think
that's
they got
all right.
Spike
Most
right.
people don't.
I mean, I feel like they got Spike right, but then because it's the same as all our other complaints with Spike. Like, Spike was right on, right?
I'm not.
Like, none of us have a different view of Spike.
Our complaint is that it's still Spike as we know him.
It's like,
I'm not saying we need less Spike, but
it would be nice to see improvements in Spike. Like, I wouldn't even mind another Spike episode, but it would be awesome to see some sort of character development or improvement where all we see him is a naive, dumb character placed into a scenario in which he keeps screwing up and us disliking him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then it's like, it's not even like, oh, he kind of screws up and something happens. It's like every time he screws up, really, really, really bad things happen. And then he's like, oh, shucks, sorry. And then everyone forgives him. Like, when other times has that happened? Like, even when some character kind of goes, like, screws up, or go crazy or something, like, catastrophic, horrible things don't happen. It's always with Spike. You know what I mean?
Bad dragon, timeout, bad.
And it's like,
Hit you with the
the
newspaper.
characters, the other main characters can resolve those things. And the resolution of the episode is them solving the things and everyone being happy. Like Fluttershy solving the tornado or whatever, right? Spike never solves bunk. It just goes wrong. And it's like, oops. Damn
All
it,
right.
Spike.
All right, that's it. We're done complaining.
one more thing. Polo ponies without riders.
Oh, yeah. That was a cute joke.
Oh, yeah.
Ponies playing polo. Polo cutie marks.
All right. Well, that was it for this Spoilercast. If you enjoyed this, then please let us know. And if you hated it, well, feel free to let us know as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you love Spike, if Spike is your spirit animal, then
Comments
sorry?
are down below.
yeah, they are. You may debate. All right. Well, that's everything. Thank you, Duel, for joining us. It was wonderful to have you.
Pleasure to be here.
All right. And without further ado, my name is Rainbow Plasma,
Winners burn.
Princess Spark.
I'm Duel.
and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Bye.